What if one man's wisdom could guide not just kings and empires, but also your daily decisions in life, work, and relationships? Welcome to the world of Chanakyaniti, a collection of hard-hitting truths and timeless strategies by the brilliant mind who toppled empires and built one of India's greatest dynasties, Acharya Chanakya. His insights are brutally honest, often controversial, but always sharp and practical. In this video, we journey through every chapter of this ancient Sanskrit text, extracting life lessons that still resonate in today's chaotic world. From handling toxic people and building true friendships, to mastering self-discipline and navigating power, Chanakya's wisdom doesn't sugarcoat. If you're ready for life advice with an edge, you're in the right place. Let's uncover the tactical brilliance and moral clarity of the man who shaped India's political philosophy centuries before Machiavelli was even born. Chapter 1: Foundations of Wisdom. Chanakya begins his teachings with a powerful invocation to God. Before diving into political and life philosophies, he pays homage to the divine creator of the three worlds, earth, heaven, and hell, seeking strength and clarity to present his needy policy for the benefit of humankind. This invocation is not just a ritual. It sets the tone that every pursuit, even intellectual or political, must be grounded in higher purpose. Chanakya asserts that even an ordinary person, through careful study and reflection upon this needy, can gain the wisdom to distinguish between good and bad, moral and immoral, capable and incompetent. His goal is clear: to enlighten minds, to steer them toward righteousness, morality, and purposeful living. He quickly pivots into practical life advice. Never associate with fools, wicked women, or perpetually distressed people. Why? Because even wise people are dragged down by bad company. Protect your wealth, your family, and most importantly, yourself. If you're not secure, you cannot safeguard others. Save for times of crisis, but don't depend solely on wealth to save you. Goddess Lakshmi, symbol of wealth, is fickle and doesn't stay in one place for long. Then comes one of his most profound teachings. If you're in a place where there's no respect, no employment, no good friends or relatives, no learning or education, leave immediately. He defines an ideal place with 5 necessities: righteous Brahmins for spiritual guidance, a just ruler, prosperous businessmen, flowing rivers, and access to medical help. Chanakya also offers tests for the people around you. A servant is tested in how well they do their duties. A friend is tested in times of crisis. A relative is tested during deep sorrow or illness. A wife is tested when you're broke. He wraps up this chapter with a vital insight on companionship and risk. Sharp-clawed animals, fast rivers, armed soldiers, flirtatious women, and those close to royalty, they're all dangerous. Don't trust them easily. And yet, if you can extract wisdom from even a sinful man, like nectar from poison, do not hesitate. Chapter 2: Human Nature and Trust. This chapter explores human shortcomings, relationships, and behavioral psychology. Chanakya begins by acknowledging that everyone, especially women according to his era's view, are born with some innate flaws like cunningness or emotional impulses. But he adds a disclaimer: not every woman is the same. Then he highlights the true joys of life: a loyal and loving wife, an obedient son, earning a modest but honest living. These, he says, are equivalent to experiencing heaven while still on earth. Chanakya defines roles and duties in relationships. A true son obeys and respects his parents. A real father provides guidance and security. A good friend is trustworthy. A virtuous wife gives happiness and peace. Beware of those who flatter to your face and slander behind your back. Such individuals are like poisoned milk, appealing but deadly. He also adds that even a good friend can become a dangerous enemy if the friendship sours, as they know your secrets. A particularly powerful teaching: do not reveal your plans until they are successful. Speaking prematurely exposes you to jealousy, sabotage, or bad luck. The biggest pain, Chanakya says, is dependence. Ignorance, youth, and ridicule hurt, but depending on others is the worst. Live with strength and independence. He also explains that value doesn't always align with appearance or location. Every mountain doesn't have gems. Every elephant doesn't have pearls on its forehead. Not every forest has sandalwood. Choose company based on virtues, not appearances. Education is praised extensively. Parents who don't educate their children are their worst enemies, he says. Discipline is essential. Just as a potter shapes clay with both gentle pats and sharp strikes, parents must use both love and discipline. Lastly, Chanakya says every moment must be used wisely. If you can't study, then give charity. If not charity, then perform good deeds. If not good deeds, then at least speak kindly. A day wasted is a step toward death. Chapter 3. Virtue versus Vice. Chanakya starts this chapter by leveling the field. No one, he says, is born without flaws. Everyone's lineage, health, happiness, all have cracks. Pain is universal. But what makes a person great is how they respond to this pain. He introduces a psychological analysis of character. Your behavior reveals your culture. Your speech reveals your origin. Your body reflects your diet. An intelligent person should marry his daughter into a good family. Educate his son thoroughly. Involve friends in religious or virtuous acts. Trap enemies in difficulties to neutralize them. One striking comparison. A snake might bite once, but an evil person hurts you constantly and emotionally. If you have to choose between them, pick the snake. Gentlemen, he says, don't abandon people in hard times. And a single virtuous person in a family, like a fragrant tree in a forest, can uplift generations. On the other hand, a single foolish or characterless child can destroy the family. Chanakya uses the example of Ravana's many sons, none of whom brought him honor. He gives a life model for parenting. First 5 years, love them deeply. Next 10 years, discipline them strongly. After 16, treat them as friends. He also advises that for safety and peace, avoid riots, famines, and wicked people. Move away if needed. Your life is paramount. In a concluding remark, Chanakya defines a prosperous home, a place where fools aren't respected, wealth is abundant, and husband and wife live in peace. Chapter 4. Destiny and Effort. Destiny decides 5 things at birth: your lifespan, actions, wealth, education, and death. But does that mean we stop trying? No. Chanakya says effort must be constant. Fate determines your hand. Effort determines how you play it. He explains the importance of saintly company. Just as a fish nurtures its children by seeing them, a turtle nurtures them by thought, a bird nurtures them by touch, so too, the company of the wise elevates you even without direct teaching. He lists spiritual practices that lead to heaven: charity, prayer, fasting, and listening to scriptures. Do them while you are alive and healthy, because after death, your body won't move, let alone meditate. Chanakya compares education to Kamdanu, the divine cow that gives everything. With knowledge, you're self-sufficient anywhere in the world. Education is your best friend in foreign lands and your weapon in crisis. It's the one wealth that grows the more you spend it. He ends this chapter by defining 5 people to be respected like fathers: the one who gives you life, the one who performs your religious rites, the one who teaches you, the one who feeds you, the one who protects you, and 5 mothers: your own mother, your teacher's wife, your friend's wife, your mother-in-law, the queen, king's wife. Respecting them brings honor. Disrespecting them brings ruin. Chapter 5. The Internal Enemies. Chanakya starts with an insightful hierarchy of mentors. Fire is a guru to the 3 castes: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya. For women, the husband is considered guru. But the guest? He is supreme. He seeks nothing but hospitality and must be treated with utmost respect. To test gold, it is burned, beaten, and cut. A good person is tested through his generosity, virtue, actions, and behavior. Only under pressure does character shine. When faced with crisis, don't panic. Chanakya advises fearing crisis while you're safe to stay alert. but facing it boldly when it strikes. He uses nature to show human diversity. Two fruits on the same tree may taste different. So, too, children born at the same time, even from the same parents, can be completely different. He then explores the flaws of envy and pride. Fools hate scholars out of jealousy. Prostitutes envy faithful wives. Widows may envy married women. Rich and poor can despise each other. Even wise people aren't immune to these feelings. He warns scholars, without regular practice, even knowledge fades. Women led by outsiders lose character. Seeds without sowing give no crop. Armies without leaders cannot win. In all things, leadership and discipline are key. Chanakya says 4 things protect 4 ideals. Wealth protects religion. Meditation protects education. Gentle speech protects authority. A loyal wife protects the household. He then classifies 3 major internal enemies. Lust, a disease that weakens both mind and body. Infatuation causes irrational behavior. Anger burns everything like wildfire. Only knowledge, he says, can control these. One of the most profound statements of this chapter is, "You are born alone. You die alone. You alone bear the fruit of your karma. So live a life that's righteous, not for others, but for your own peace in this life and beyond." Chanakya concludes with lessons on donation. Don't give food to someone who isn't hungry. Don't give light to a place already lit. Give what's needed to whom it's needed when it's needed. This precision and charity, like all of Chanakya's advice, is grounded in practicality and timeless insight. Chapter 6, Time and Karma. Chanakya opens Chapter 6 by drawing our attention to the mystery of fate and time. Time, he says, is the ultimate authority. It rules over kings and beggars alike. It devours strength, wisdom, beauty, and even the most potent pleasures. No matter how powerful one may feel, time humbles all. Therefore, recognizing the power of time should inspire urgency and discipline in one's actions. He also makes a distinction between action and destiny. Though destiny decides birth and death, our actions fill the gap in between. One who surrenders to fate alone becomes passive, while one who acts with discipline and intention becomes a creator of fortune. Chanakya warns against indulgence in lust and liquor. These are compared to blindness. They rob a man of his reasoning, morality, and dignity. Just as a storm can uproot a tree regardless of its age, so too can these vices destroy even the wisest person if left unchecked. He further advises us to examine friendships and associations. Those who speak sweetly but act otherwise are to be feared more than open enemies. Just as a jug is tested for leaks and a mirror for clarity, a friend is tested in adversity. His concept of karma is profound. Every action, whether seen or unseen, yields fruit. The law of karma is unbreakable. Hence, righteousness must be pursued not as a social virtue, but as a cosmic necessity. A wise person acts without attachment, aiming for excellence rather than applause. Chapter 7, Endurance and Strategy. In this chapter, Chanakya turns his attention to endurance, deception, power, and discipline. The one who is patient, even in the face of provocation, ultimately prevails. Endurance, he says, is the true strength of the wise. He offers a deep warning: never trust your enemy, even if they seem reformed. Just as a fire can reignite from a spark, a subdued enemy can strike when least expected. Watch for those who disguise their hatred under layers of politeness. Chanakya offers rich allegories to describe ideal behavior. Like a lion, attack only when confident of victory. Like a crane, wait patiently and strike at the right time. Like a crow, be resourceful and alert. Like a dog, be loyal but courageous. Like a donkey, persevere without complaint. These animal traits symbolize the multifaceted nature of success. Strength, patience, strategy, and endurance are all needed. He gives valuable advice on child rearing. A child should be punished when wrong, not out of anger, but for correction. Praise should be given cautiously, lest it breeds arrogance. On domestic peace, Chanakya is clear. A chaste wife, disciplined children, and a modest household are the keys to long-lasting harmony. Wealth without peace, he says, is merely burden. When dealing with powerful people, behave with extreme caution. Just as a snake charmer plays his flute with precision, you must deal with authority with both charm and intelligence. Chapter 8, Governance and Leadership. Chanakya now explores governance, power, and virtue. He declares that a king, or by extension, a leader, must have vision, secrecy, discipline, and advisors. A weak king, he says, is a curse to his kingdom. Likewise, a foolish friend or a characterless wife can bring ruin to your life. He encourages rulers to walk anonymously among their people. Why? Because real knowledge of your kingdom, organization, or family comes only from direct observation. A king hidden in his palace hears only filtered truths. By seeing the people with his own eyes, he understands their real struggles. He condemns excessive luxury. It weakens the spirit. Comfort, when taken in excess, breeds laziness. Just as milk left in open air curdles, wisdom without discipline decays. Education remains central in this chapter too. A man without education is like a lifeless tree. He occupies space but offers no fruit or shade. A wise man, even in poverty, commands respect. He draws a brilliant analogy. A single virtuous person uplifts society just as a fragrant flower fills an entire forest with scent. Virtue is not private, it radiates. Chapter 9, Character over Wealth. In Chapter 9, Chanakya continues his focus on inner strength and outer conduct. He highlights that a man's honor is more valuable than his wealth. A poor man with character is a treasure. A rich man without it is a liability. He warns against trusting appearances. A calm sea can hide deadly currents. Likewise, a composed face can mask a stormy heart. Always evaluate people by their actions, not their image. Chanakya makes an intriguing observation. A king should never reveal his intentions. Secrecy is the foundation of success. Just as you don't let enemies know your strategy in war, you must not expose your plans prematurely in life. He again stresses the value of self-control. Lust, anger, and greed are seen as fires that consume everything in their path. The antidote: knowledge, discipline, and introspection. On relationships, Chanakya emphasizes mutual respect. A husband who disrespects his wife, or a wife who betrays her husband, poisons the household. Harmony is built on trust, not fear. The chapter concludes with this gem. Even when clouds cover the moon, its light remains. Similarly, a virtuous person might face setbacks, but their inner glow remains unextinguished. Chapter 10, Learning from All Creatures. Chanakya sharpens his advice with greater practicality here. He says one must learn from everyone, no matter how small or different. From ants, we learn persistence. From bees, cooperation. From crows, alertness. From swans, discrimination. They can separate milk from water, metaphorically. He cautions against 4 types of ruin: overindulgence in food and sex, excessive sleep, fear of change, living in bad company. These, he says, are slow poisons that ruin lives quietly. A man must be alert in his youth, because time lost can never be recovered. The energy of youth must be used for learning and discipline. Laziness in youth leads to regret in old age. Chanakya speaks again about rulers, noting that a king must be like fire, respected and feared, but also like a mother, protective and nourishing. A balanced leader commands both love and fear. He offers a chilling yet realistic view. If you don't use your position or talent well, someone else will, and you will fade into irrelevance. So act decisively while you can. Chapter 11, False Friends and Detachment. This chapter serves as a moral compass, especially in times of temptation and challenge. Chanakya outlines types of enemies who are the mask of friends: the flatterer, the gossip monger, the overly generous stranger, the overly curious relative. Beware of those who talk sweetly but plant seeds of division. Gossip, Chanakya says, destroys faster than any sword. Words, once spoken, can't be taken back, so guard your tongue as you would guard your treasure. He makes a poetic observation about pride. The ocean remains quiet even when rivers flow into it. Likewise, the wise remain calm despite praise or provocation. Another deep insight. Even a faultless person becomes hated if they constantly criticize others. So even righteousness must be tempered with compassion. Chanakya re-emphasizes the importance of time. It swallows cities, civilizations, and heroes. So don't boast about your youth, beauty, or power. They are fleeting. He identifies 7 types of bad people to avoid: the cruel scholar, the greedy priest, the angry leader, the corrupt judge, the immoral teacher, the talkative friend, the jealous relative. These people, though seemingly respectable, cause enormous damage. The final teaching of this chapter is profound. Detach from things that hurt you. Detachment is not neglect, it's wisdom. It allows you to preserve peace, clarity, and purpose. Chapter 12, The Power of Speech. Here, Chanakya begins to explore the importance of speech and communication. He asserts that the tongue is both the savior and destroyer of men. The wise use it sparingly and purposefully. He warns against excessive talking. Words, once released, cannot be taken back. Just as a wound from an arrow may heal, the wound from speech often does not. Silence is not weakness. It is a sign of internal strength. Chanakya urges one to weigh their words like gold. Speak only when it is beneficial, and never boast about your virtues. Let your actions speak for you. He praises humility as the ornament of the wise. He also notes that a person with knowledge but no humility is like a tree with no fruit. Its presence serves little purpose. He ends by stating that truth, patience, and charity are the true wealth of a noble soul. Chapter 13, Justice and Conduct. Chanakya dives into justice, friendship, and personal conduct. He discusses how even justice must be served with understanding and fairness, not with cruelty or favoritism. He stresses that association with the wicked is a danger to one's character. Even a cloth placed near a flame will be scorched. The company you keep ultimately shapes your destiny. True friendship, he says, must be tested in adversity. Friends who vanish in times of hardship were never truly friends. Instead, value the ones who stand by you during storms. Chanakya also says that a man must constantly guard his character. It is his reputation and power. One's name, once tarnished, is hard to restore. He concludes by reminding that a wise man must keep distance from anger, pride, desire, and laziness. These inner enemies are greater than any outer threat. Chapter 14, Self-Mastery and Restraint. Chanakya returns to the theme of self-mastery and discipline. He uses the metaphor of the chariot. The body is the chariot. The senses are the horses. The mind is the reins, and the soul is the rider. Only when the rider is in full control can the journey be successful. He warns against indulgent living. One who eats too much, talks too much, or sleeps excessively is unfit for noble work. Life must be lived with moderation. Secrecy, again, is emphasized. Do not share your plans, wealth, or weaknesses with anyone, not even with close friends or family unless truly necessary. Secrets, once out, can be used as weapons. Chanakya also explains the importance of dressing with dignity. Your appearance reflects your discipline. Clean, modest, and neat clothing enhances both self-respect and public perception. He ends with a declaration that those who lack foresight suffer, even if they are intelligent. Planning is as essential as action. Chapter 15, Strategic Diplomacy. This chapter builds on earlier themes with a sharper focus on diplomacy and leadership. Chanakya explains that a leader must learn from nature. Even a small ant does not give up. It climbs again and again. Perseverance is the foundation of success. He warns against impulsive decisions. Think before you act, especially in matters of wealth, marriage, and enmity. Once committed, such decisions cannot be easily reversed. Chanakya also discusses the three types of people you must never provoke. A snake, for its strike is deadly. A king, for his wrath is dangerous. A scholar, for his words can destroy your reputation. Leadership, he says, is not about dominance. It's about influence, fairness, and strategy. Use both reward and punishment wisely. A ruler must be firm, not harsh. Chapter 16, Inner Corruption. In this penultimate chapter, Chanakya talks about the corrupting forces that derail even the great. These are a lust, laziness, ego, alcohol, bad company. He says that wisdom, when accompanied by ego, becomes poison. Likewise, charity done for fame is hypocrisy, not virtue. He calls for vigilance in all spheres of life: business, family, and personal discipline. A single moment of recklessness can undo years of work. One must walk life like walking on a tightrope, balanced, alert, and purposeful. Chanakya also touches on spiritual discipline. Even in devotion, moderation is key. Excess in any form leads to imbalance. He finishes this chapter by emphasizing that the wise plan for the future while living fully in the present. Balance, again, is the secret of a fulfilled life. Chapter 17, The Path to Liberation. The final chapter serves as a concluding mirror to all of Chanakya's teachings. It is reflective, philosophical, and deeply practical. He begins by stressing detachment. All that we gather, wealth, fame, pleasure, will be left behind. What remains is your karma, your deeds. Focus on what is eternal. He outlines the traits of a complete man: steady in adversity, modest in success, respectful to elders, disciplined in habit, grateful for small blessings. He praises those who lead simple, righteous lives. They are like the lotus in the muddy pond, untouched by impurity. Chanakya's final words are a powerful call for balance. Be spiritual, but not delusional. Be practical, but not cynical. Be humble, but not weak. Be courageous, but not reckless. With that, Chanakyaniti ends not as a list of rules, but as a living philosophy, a way of being that merges strategy with virtue, power with wisdom, and ambition with humility.